logic. Breaking news, another batch of documents found in the DOCUGATE scandal, GarageGate scandal, whatever you want to call it, Joe Biden. Okay, so I'll read you the actual release here. Yeah, please smash that like as you come in, chat it up with where you're from. This is there's so much to say on this. I'll go through the actual announcement and the statement from Biden's personal attorney and the statements from the DOJ and whatnot. So you have to understand this is now the 5th batch of documents, if I'm counting this all right, and I believe I am. We are now up to 5 batches of documents. So the first batch, you'll remember, was found at the Penn Biden Center in Washington, D.C. Of course, University of Pennsylvania, right, funded by Chinese, Communist Party, basically, to the tune of, what was it? I'm trying to keep the facts straight here on this, $38 million, $48 million, what was it? So that's the Penn Biden Center. That was that first batch. Good evening, Deckers Bows. Good to see you on, Gerald. So the 6 batches. No, come on, it's 5, isn't it? It's the 4th found at the Wilmington home. This is the 5th batch in total, right? This is 5 batches. Yeah. Some people are saying 6. I'm pretty sure this is number 5. It's tough to keep up with it all. I understand. It's like you've got to be kidding. Was he using them as wallpaper? Oh, give a hand clap to Michelle. That's great. Maybe toilet paper. You know, I just, because he's full of crap. I didn't just say that. I'm sorry. I can't. This is unbelievable. Okay, let's get to the statement on this. All right. So this is the statement from Bob Bauer, the personal attorney for the president. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, see, people 5. I think it's 5. Okay. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Constitution. Yeah, go to MyPillow, mypillow.com. Promo code Lumberjack will save you up to 66%. I don't know. Somebody bought a bunch of stuff one day last week. I actually had some stuff sell. So thank you for that. Whoever was out buying stuff from MyPillow. Get some Giza sheets. You'll love them. I missed my sheets when I was on my hermitage. But I did have my jammies and my travel pillow with me. So anyways, it's just so you know. All right, statement from Bob Bauer, personal attorney for the president. At the outset of this matter, the president directed his personal attorneys to fully cooperate with the Department of Justice. Accordingly, having previously identified and reported to the DOJ a small number of documents with classification markings at the president's Wilmington home, and in the interests of moving the process forward as expeditiously as possible, we offered to provide prompt access to his home to allow the DOJ to conduct a search of the entire premises for potential vice presidential records and potential classified material. This was consistent with the process described in the statement we released January 14th and followed after the personal attorney's discovery of the documents found at the Penn Biden Center. So they are continuing with the narrative of we are fully cooperating, small batch, and the president's doing the right thing. Okay. All right, it gets better. DOJ requested that the search not be made public in advance in accordance with its standard procedures, and we agreed to cooperate. Okay, so they didn't want it public in advance, just afterwards. Got it. Yesterday, DOJ completed a thorough search of all the materials in the president's Wilmington home. It began at approximately 9:45 a.m. and concluded around 10:30 p.m. and covered all working, living, and storage spaces in the home. I wonder if they were in Joe Biden's underwear drawer like they were in Melania's. Okay. I guess. I'm sorry. I can't. Now, here's the thing. I just saw a comment scroll by and check this out. They said, getting tired of hearing the same old crap and nothing being done about it. Okay, here's the thing. What's interesting about this one is there is something going to be done about it. I'm going to make a prediction here. But the thing is, it's not the thing that should be done about it. But let me first get through this. By agreement with DOJ, representatives of both personal legal team and the White House counsel's office were present. Okay. DOJ had full access to the president's home, including personal handwritten notes, files, papers, binders. Binders reminds me what's the binders of women. Wasn't that Romney? I mean, that guy, remember, we were told we were supposed to vote for Romney back in the day? He was going to be the guy to beat Barack Obama. It's just, and he had the binders of women. And they all went on about that. Anyways, just a little aside, little it's a sticky note somebody says. All right, so I love you people. All right, smash that like, keep chatting it up. You guys are great. I don't catch all the comments, I'm sorry, but sometimes I catch some and they're so funny. And for those who don't like the fact that I actually pull those comments out and you say I get distracted, whatever. Okay, this is how I do it. You go do you. I'm doing this because I like interacting with these great people. People are still arguing over 6 and 5 batches. Anyways, but remember, we were supposed to vote for Mitt Romney back in the day, and he's just terrible. We dodged a bullet with Romney. That's right, Sherry. We dodged a bullet. Oh, my word. Ruth Walter says, what about the other homes? Well, that's a great point, too. Maybe he's got a Corvette in that garage with, maybe they're in the trunk of those Corvettes. I don't know. But anyways, let's move on. Binders. Okay. Memorabilia. He's got signed baseball cards. I don't know. To-do lists, schedules, and reminders going back decades. DOJ took possession of materials it deemed within the scope of its inquiry, including 6 items consisting of documents and classification markings and surrounding materials, some of which were from the president's service in the Senate. People, from the president's service in the Senate. When was Joe Biden in the Senate last? He was vice president for 2 years for 2 terms under Obama. Okay, so that's 8 years plus these years. We're talking over a decade ago. Okay, about 40 years ago. Of course, he was in the Senate 40 years ago. He's been in the, what was he in the Senate for? Yeah, at least 40 years. More than that? 40, I don't know. Yeah, so because he's been in government service for 47 years, you know. So because he takes these things very seriously, people, very seriously. I just want you to know, it's all very serious. But he's got documents. Classified documents from his time in the Senate. Now, we know he can't declass as a vice president. He certainly can't declass as a senator. This is nuts, okay? But I want you to know he's taking it all very seriously, cooperating with everybody. He's doing this great. He's doing the best, okay? This is so stupid. But here's the thing. Just wait, because it's gonna. I'm gonna give my thoughts on this, but let me get through this first. Get you the rest of this. Okay. Service in the Senate, and some of which were from his tenure as vice president. DOJ also took for further review personally handwritten notes from the vice presidential years. I'm sure they're going to take that very seriously too. The DOJ, I'm telling you, they're going to investigate this very seriously, people. Very seriously. The DOJ is on this. Don't you worry. Merrick Garland has got your back, people. He's got your back. He is going after Joe Biden. He is like a dog on a bone. Okay. As noted in the statement we released on January 14th, we have attempted to balance the importance of public transparency where appropriate with the established norms and limitations necessary to protect the investigation's integrity. This is full of integrity, people. This is the most integrity-filled. Merrick Garland runs a tight ship, okay? All right. We will continue to do so throughout the course of our cooperation with the DOJ. Okay. This is so ridiculous. I got one other little thing here on this. Remember, Merrick Garland, I'm telling you, because he's running a tight ship, has appointed a special counsel, Robert Hur, to investigate Biden's handling of classified documents on January 12th. And we all know how serious Mr. Hur is and how much he loved Donald Trump, right? All right. So wait, there was one other thing. And then Richard Stauber, who is special counsel to the president. So Biden has his own team of personal lawyers. And then, when you're in government and you're the president, you have special counsel to the president that's provided. Okay. So Richard Stauber, he's the special counsel of the president. Here's his statement too. President Biden directed his personal lawyers to be fully cooperative with the Justice Department as part of its ongoing investigation. That has been the case since a small number, hundreds with Trump, hundreds, nuclear documents. I'm telling you, remember when that got leaked? It was all crap because if they actually were, we would have more on that right now. Okay, so this was the thing. Remember, there were all these leaks with the Trump thing, and they were nuclear documents. You were gonna die. I mean, this was crazy, and of course they were in a skiff, and they had Secret Service detail, all this. Okay, which Biden never had when he was vice president. It just keeps him around his Corvette, But doors open, but it's very. I just want to see this. America the Free. Thank you for all you do, Neil. Thank you, America the Free, for that $20 super chat. That's great. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, with Trump, it was always leaked about, the next possible thing and how it was just this damning stuff. Okay. This is just terribly small number, not important, just classified. All right. Voluntarily, and so you need to understand that has been the case since it's the small number at Penn Biden Center. His team voluntarily and promptly disclosed the initial discovery to the archives and subsequent discoveries to DOJ, as is the proper protocol. No, the proper protocol is to never have them at your house, especially when you're just a vice president or a senator. But that's all beside the point. Since the beginning, the president has been. This is so great. I can't even read this. I saw ahead. Since the beginning, the president has been committed to handling this responsibly because he takes this. Help me out here, people. How does he take this? I mean, he's been committed to handling this responsibly because he takes this. Come on. How does he take this? It's the same thing again. Seriously, that's right, B. Joy. Seriously, it's so serious. Jonathan Tay super chatted me. He's from Australia. I got to see him a little bit ago. Biden is the most serious president ever, people. This guy's so serious. It makes it also. I can't help myself. I'm sorry. I'm falling apart reading this. As detailed in the statement released by the president's personal attorney, the president and his team are working swiftly to ensure that DOJ and special counsel have what they need to conduct a thorough review, because they take it very seriously. On Friday, DOJ conducted a comprehensive search. Sounds pretty serious. Search of the president's Wilmington residence. And it concluded late Friday night. The statement from the president's personal attorney details that how the search was conducted, what materials were reviewed, and what was found. Neither the president nor the first lady were present during the search. That's called plausible deniability, people. The president's lawyers and White House counsel's office will continue to cooperate with the DOJ and special counsel to help ensure this process is conducted swiftly and efficiently, because he takes it very seriously. Okay. They're staying at their Delaware vacation home, blah, blah. Biden won't take any questions on it. You guys saw that earlier. He won't take any questions on this. And you probably saw my video there with KJP, Karine Jean-Pierre, because thing went nuts and picked up 1.4 million views. So I'm almost assuming everybody on the stream has seen that, where she tells you just how seriously everything was taken. Fabian, oh my gosh, look at, I got to get to these super chats here. Fabian T Neil, good work. I look forward to Monday White House press briefing with our most incompetent Karine Jean-Pierre meltdown coming. I know I'm going to have to do another video. Seriously, he should be committed. Oh, he's committed, Valerie. Very committed. He's committed to taking documents very seriously. I just want you to know that. This is serious stuff. You know, I mean, have you guys seen his, okay, the vacation home? I want you to look at this. Do you see the swamp? See, it's a swamp. This is like the picture of the swamp. That's how fitting the swamp is real. Anyways, here's the thing. Okay, we can have some laughs at all this. Okay, I wonder if he takes Ultra Mega seriously. Jeff, Ultra Mega is a serious thing. Come on, man. Anyhow, but here's the big question in all this, right? We know the swamp is the swamp, and we know that the swamp is deep and thick in all of that. Thanks, sweet cheeks. So why is this all getting out? Why are we now up to all this number of batches? Now, one of the things that you've discovered over the course of time is that they try to try President Trump for crimes that are more serious than what actually happened, yet they let everybody else on crimes that are lesser. Now, you have to understand that President Trump has been the most investigated president on the face of God's green earth at this point. You guys all know that. He's constantly under investigation. They look at his taxes. They look at his businesses. They look at, you know, it's all Russia collusion. They ran a whole narrative on that for the longest period of time, okay? And they've got nothing. You really are at this point having to wonder just how clean President Donald Trump is. And I'm not saying that in jest or anything like that. How clean is that guy when they can run that many investigations and come up with nothing? And then you've got this going on. And the question is, you have multiple questions. Is Kamala Harris just salivating over the prospect of possibly becoming the president because they're finally taking Joe Biden down because he is no longer useful to them? Okay. And Obama's never liked him. And we happen to know that most likely Obama is running the White House at this point with all of his former lackeys in there and is actually calling the shots from his basement because that's where Joe Biden campaigned from. So that's where Barack Obama wants to run it from. But in addition to that, they're looking at him and saying it's small number and seriously and all of this. Okay, so they're minimizing this. The real crimes, which would all be uncovered on the Biden laptop. All right, so what they doing? This is the question then. Are they just going to go with these and say, well, you know, maybe you just shouldn't be in the White House anymore, but all the real crimes that are on the Biden laptop in the Marco Polo report, we're going to let them go on those? Is that what this is all about? What do you guys think? I want to see the comments here. What do you guys think this is all about? I mean, seriously. Because I'm serious about this. I'm very serious. I mean, where are we at on this? I mean, is this just like we're taking down Joe now and we're going to just kind of get rid of him based on these things? But the fact is, we're not going to prosecute him on the real crimes, which are all contained on the Biden laptop that we don't want to talk about, that the FBI has actually had in its possession all this time. And we actually know that the FBI, the DOJ, knew about the documents before the election. And Joe Biden knew about the documents before the election, obviously, as well. So he could have released all this information at that point in time and didn't. So what's this all about? Exactly. Independent Many says, it makes me nervous when the mainstream media is pushing it. Here's another thing. So my video, that's the highest viewed video I've ever had, 1.4 million. It was Biden's presser, and it is fun to watch because Karine Jean-Pierre is getting taken down, and the press is actually asking real questions. But why now? Why now? Why are they really asking real questions now? And why is that video, out of all the videos I've ever done, allowed to get that many views? Where I've got other videos that I released a video today that had a tremendous click-through rate, and I'll show you something on it. This is wild. You guys want to see suppression in action? I don't know if this is of any interest to you, but so here, I released this video. The click-through rate continued to climb. It was up to 33.4%. So typically what happens when you release videos is their click-through rate goes down as they release it to larger audiences and new audiences, okay? Here's what the graph on it looks like. So this is, I screenshotted this, but you can see real-time views, okay? So if you look right here, so what happened was all of a sudden this thing started taking off like a rocket ship, okay? And then all of a sudden it was just crushed. And I checked. So one of the reasons that they'll crush a video is if your watch time really suffers, like it's just not good content. But this had climbing watch time, and then all of a sudden, it has above average watch time. Okay, the watch time on this video is above average. This video is not allowed to go, and this is dealing with the Kari Lake situation down in Arizona. But I do a video on a Joe Biden presser, and I get that it was funny and all of that, but that's the one that's allowed to get 1.4 million views. This was actually, to be honest, a more interesting story, and a more important story in many respects. So if you guys haven't seen that, it's got the thumbnail. We have it all if you go to my channel. But Kari Lake made a big announcement on Twitter. And I want to say this much too. I know a lot of people are like, look, Neil, there's never going to be justice. This is what people say. I get these comments all the time. There's never going to be justice. The courts will never rule. It's all controlled by the WEF and all this kind of stuff. Well, people, that's not true. I just want you to know, not every judge is a plant that's controlled by. That's not how this deal works. Now, it doesn't mean that there aren't controlled judges. It doesn't. I'm not saying any of that. But you guys just have to understand that that's not everybody. Now, the other thing is, don't negate the power of God in all of this. And I'm not saying that because so many people just go like, oh, the God's on our side and we're going to win because, God's going to make this happen. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I am not a prophet. I'm not here to tell you what's going to happen that way. I just don't have it. Okay. I know God's a God of justice. He's a God of mercy. He is typically in the form of justice. What God is concerned about is the little people, right? So even when you go back to the church with Jesus, and it was the Pharisees and the religious rulers that God had the biggest problems with, where he wanted everybody to come to repentance, and these people were kind of stalling that and that type of thing. So I just say that because I don't think that we can't have a win. Okay. But I don't believe it's going to happen here with Joe. As serious as he's taking everything, and as serious as the mainstream media has all of a sudden gotten, I don't think the win is Joe actually getting taken down like he should be for all of his malfeasance, all of his bad doings. I don't believe that's going to happen. And I'm sorry to, rain on your parade if you thought that was. But I do believe we can see justice in Arizona at the Arizona Supreme Court. So as this goes through the appeals process with Kari Lake, one thing you need to understand is this will go to the Supreme Court either way. Because even if the appellate court rules in her favor, kicks it back to the lower court and tells them they need to look at their ruling again, it's still going to the Supreme Court because then the other side will appeal it. So it's going to the Supreme Court. And we can see justice there. That doesn't mean that those judges might not be intimidated. It doesn't mean that there's things like that not going on behind the scenes. But it also, you have to look at the Missouri versus Biden case and look at what's going on with that judge and how strong he's been and how much we've already gotten that we weren't supposed to get. If they controlled everything, we wouldn't have gotten the information we got out of the Missouri versus Biden case. Okay? It just wouldn't have happened. Because what we have now found is that YouTube has suppressed content by up to 70% that they didn't like. Well, that's important to know, and not information they want to have out. That Twitter was actually having individual asks from the White House. Okay, so don't think that things can't be exposed, that things can't change, that people can't go to jail, that things can't get overturned, that good things can happen. Okay, but just, I don't think this is where we're going to get it. And I'm sorry to say that. Camel's probably excited. She thinks, well, maybe they'll get rid of Joe, and maybe he is stepping down from the White House when this all plays out. That could happen. Or maybe it just causes him not to run for re-election. But you have to understand, look at Andrew Cuomo, right? What was Andrew Cuomo's real crime? He hid the data and the facts on what he was doing in nursing homes in New York. That's a real crime. And instead, we get some sexual harassment charges on him, and he has to step down from office. That's what we get out of that? The real crime is much more serious. And the real crime of Joe Biden is much more serious. They always get these their lackeys off on smaller things, even after they've served their usefulness to them. And Anthony Weiner, that's a great one too. And so they do that simply because even though they don't need them anymore, it would look very bad if all of a sudden their team was going to prison. Does that make sense? This is just my thoughts on it. I could be wrong. I'm often wrong. But I really think at this point, we're not going to see Biden and his son Hunter pay for the real crimes. There's another example. So Hunter, you have all kinds of crimes on that laptop, right? A laptop from hell. And you have massive, real, indictable, damning evidence, okay? And what do they talk about? Maybe getting an IRS charge and maybe a small gun charge? What? Prostitution, racketeering, drugs, and the business dealings of selling out our country, and that's it. And yet, if a conservative gets caught with classified documents, it's all treated completely differently. Okay. I mean, look at the whole thing with Trump, and Trump actually had the ability to declassify documents, and it was simply an argument over whether these documents that he had declassified, that he could, and they were still stored in a SCIF. The Department of Justice still had access to them. All of that. There was Secret Service there. Those classified documents, they were no threat to our national security. These are actual threats to our national security, and were probably sold out to these other places, to China, to Ukraine. I mean, that's what the documents were dealing with. So, anyways, I don't. As much as I love this story, and I do, and I think it's great that it's being exposed, and I think it looks like a crap show for the Democrats. I don't think that we're going to see the real justice here that we want to see. What are your thoughts? Let me see in the chat now here, since I can actually. He's just going to plead the fifth. Yeah, I mean, they've got that option, right? So some people think I'm totally right. That's great. Thank you. If you think I'm right, you're probably right, Ramon. I'm just kidding. It's all planned to a certain point, yeah. By the way, don't take the WEF seriously. The World Economic Forum, don't take them that seriously. They don't actually govern, okay? Yes, they're whacked. I've got some funny clips from the WEF. I think I'm going to put together a collection. Wag the dog, yeah. A collection of funny clips from the World Economic Forum. These people are tough to take seriously. Don't take their edicts seriously. Don't do their garbage. Don't eat their bugs. Don't, just go eat your beef steaks. Go drive big diesel trucks. Heck with them all. I mean, don't take them seriously. Okay? Don't water down the punishment for high treason. This is why certain actions continue. Yes, Faustino. Let them eat cake. How many batches documents for an FBI raid? Well, no, you don't need a raid because he takes it all very seriously and he's cooperating. Anyways, I just needed to get the news out on that. I'll work on some more videos to get out tomorrow. But hey, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And thanks so much for being here and all of that. And I'm glad I'm able to catch some of your guys' comments. I'm sorry I can't catch them all, but they fly in pretty fast, and just keep fighting the good fight, folks. And mypillow.com, or I don't have the coffee here, but reverecoffeecompany.com. Promo code Lumberjack at all these places. Save you money. Actually, promo code Lumberjack on my merch store right now saves you 20%. So you can check that out. All the links should be in. They're not in the description. I'll get those in there for you. They will be in there when the show is done. And my mods have been sharing them too. So thanks so much. I love you all. Peace out.